So I just hit start streaming. It should say we're live. And then I think Sergio can be there on the computer if he wants and see how it looks and talk about the chat because the chat's going to be going hopefully too.
Yeah, he's on it.
All right, cool.
Right now. Unless you want to get on the desktop and check it out.
It doesn't work the same.
It doesn't work the same?
No, I'm saying unless it doesn't work the same.
Is there a difference between a cell phone and a desktop or laptop?
Oh, no. I think it's the same, yeah. And we already have a couple of people in the chat already. Mike H, TIE Fly Productions are already in here. I just made the post on Instagram. And tonight, guys, is going to be our Geek Cave number 2. This is episode number 2. It's going to be all about the Suicide Squad and the extended cut. But it really wasn't an extended cut, so we're probably going to talk about the movie in general. You guys are free to call in. I'll put the number up now. Give me 1 second. Let me see where to find it. If you guys want to call in and give your thoughts on Suicide Squad, that is the number up there. But with me today, I know some of you guys were coming in here expecting Karina Michelle, but she had to bail. Okay, she bailed on me. So I got a...
Fucking hotter now.
I know. We upgraded here. We have Jesse from NerdWithBalls. What's going on, Jesse?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Not much, man. Thank you for filling in on such short notice. And it was very unprofessional to hit you up last night and be like, hey, can you come on the show tomorrow? But you came through in the clutch, man.
Homies, dude. Don't worry about that. We got you back. Don't trip.
All right. Go ahead and tell people in here a little bit about Nerds with Balls and where they can find you before we get started.
All right. A little bit about Nerd with Balls. It's just a group of me and all my friends. We just sit there and talk about pop culture, boxing, comics, movie reviews. Done some radio with this. Co-founder, one of my besties, named Sergio. He's hiding in the back right now, watching this live stream. It's pretty much like a little mini family, man. We're just coming up, just growing every day. Just a passing thing. That just one thought, boom, sparked, and it just constantly keeps growing. That's how I look at that. Nerd with Balls is just a good place, just where you could just have your opinions and not give a fuck, and just throw down with your friends.
And that's what I like about you guys. You guys are like super raw. You guys don't hold back at all. You guys give your opinions no matter if it's popular or unpopular. And that's kind of how I am on this show. Like this is a non-PC show. I'm here to go hard and give my real opinions, and I don't hold back here. So I hope you don't hold back here.
Have you ever heard me hold back?
No, never. So that's why I was like, man, I gotta get Jesse on because he's gonna go all out. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into the Suicide Squad extended cut. Movie already has been out for a long time, and it recently came out with the extended cut. What did you think about the movie in general, in terms of the third DCEU movie?
I think that's, to me, dude, just because like that's like one of my specialties is like film. It's a vague question. Like if I was there and I was entertained, yes. Like I had a fun time. But when I look at movies like that, I dissect everything. Where I'm like, cool, did it fucking take me out of my everyday life and just enjoy it? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it everything that every pop culture fanboy fucking wants? Hell no. And the extended version didn't do much except for put more romance from like the 3 or 4 scenes that went down. Especially with Harley and Jared Leto, aka the Joker. And I don't look at it as bad or good. We need more, but I also look at them. They're fucking young as fuck with this whole DC shit trying to come through. I think they're trying to throw down a different vibe now. There's a lot of room for improvement for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I went into the first time, I went to go see the movie for the first time. I had those beer goggles on, and I thought it was super entertaining. I was like, okay, that was the most fun out of the DCEU movies. It was funner than Man of Steel, and it was funner than Batman v Superman. But after I watched this movie like a second time in the extended cut, I realized, man, this is like the worst movie of the DCEU for me, anyway. It not in terms of entertainment factor though. It will entertain you if you don't cringe at certain moments. I just think that the Joker was a huge misstep. What did you think about Jared Leto's Joker?
I'm always optimistic to that, and I think the hard thing is like as fanboys, there's so many people that live in life without change. And I always try to put that and equate it somewhere in my mind because you're gonna always hear people like, "Hey, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, all those guys," and they always put a standard. I'm like, dude, sometimes fucking something new can be something different and better if you give it a try. But if you hear it over and over and over, like when Ben Affleck was cast as fucking Batman. That was the worst thing. That broke the internet. Fuck him, K. Like it was the worst decision ever. I'm like, dude, you guys just need to calm the fuck down and relax. Same thing with Jared.
Yeah.
He does look like a big time like bro fuckboy that nobody gives a shit about. Like this guy for sure has sold some underage kids fucking drugs. Like,
For sure. Yeah.
But he was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. There were some mannerisms, some wordings he said that really stood out to me. I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, he's the greatest Joker of all times. But I will say, you know what? I saw him for a little bit on here. Let's see what could happen. Besides the fact that he looks like those fuckboys that we all hate in high school, and probably the same fucking bars and pubs. You know, but he had some great little dialogues that he made come alive, though. That's what I got to say about him.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went into it. I had hope for him because I had seen that San Diego Comic-Con trailer where he was like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of into this. But then there was just too many things in the movie happen where I was like, what? Like it felt very Hot Topic. It felt very like teen angsty, and I feel like they portrayed the romance between Harley Quinn and Joker totally the wrong way and not true to the comic books. They were scared to go there, I think, and
want some rape and shots and like a love story, Okay. Guys,
They tried to play it off as something totally different, though. They brushed that under the rug. And what about, okay, in terms of his mannerisms, you said you thought he was doing a couple things that were pretty cool. What about like his growling and his purring that he did? Because he did a lot of that in here.
The purring was kind of like looking at fucking gay porn, and I give a shit less for that. But there was like some things like one of the big lines that really stuck with me was what did he fucking say?
Don't tell me this the line about, oh, I'm an idea I can't love because I'm an idea, or I'm a concept.
I idolize a lot of fucking pimps, so people get like that and me be like, yeah, fuck that. No, it wasn't even the whole idea concept. It was more
just like his version, like a mafioso gangster Joker.
I think that's not even just that. I think that's a big part because I think as mainstream society, as we start to evolve, we start to become more pussies. Like, to get an R-rated, for any of these films that we enjoy.
Yeah.
People forget that. Like, everybody's like, oh no, this and that. Then they got to do everything fucking family friendly and all that other shit. My thing is like, dude, there's some characters that are just raw and you can't fuck them up like that. Harley Quinn is probably one of them. Joker for sure. Desire is to surrender.
Oh yeah.
Desire is to surrender, and to surrender is for power. Like that whole line, like I was thinking about that all day. Like how he said it though, like he said it exactly the right way that could compel anybody to follow him.
Okay, well you liked his delivery then, because I was on the totally the opposite end of the spectrum. I thought he sounded like a caricature. I thought he sounded like The Mask, really, and I think he was trying too hard in a lot of his scenes, and like there were things that weren't explained. Like there was one scene where he had like a black outline of a smile over his face. I wish that was explained to us somehow, or when he was like laying down in the pile of knives. Like, explain to us why. Does he have OCD and he was just like lining up all the knives or something? Like, no exposition at all. It was just chaos, and I guess that's what we're supposed to expect with the Joker, right?
I don't even think it was just about the chaos. Like, even like if you watch the extras and shit like that, like they do go into some things like how they're showing actually the outline of his smile. Like they're like, oh, they started showing like different comics, and I was just kind of like, that's fucking cool. Like, yeah, there's some parts of the story that just don't make sense, but out of the Suicide Squad, I think the Joker isn't the biggest problem I have.
What is the villain? You want to go there with the villain choice? Or you want to go with it?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Will
Smith. Big Willie.
I fucking hate Will Smith as an actor as I get older. It's the same fucking character every fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, did he really try hard to deviate from being Will Smith in this movie? I don't know. Do you read a lot of comics with Deadshot in it? Is that his character, Will Smith, or is he a different?
This has nothing to do with the characters. It's literally Will Smith's acting.
Uh huh. Yeah, like I thought that whole Phil Jackson triangle joke was just lost on everybody, unless you're a fan of the NBA and you know about the Lakers and Phil Jackson. Like a lot of his lines were just missing for me.
Yeah, I think he tried to show that he was like precise and very educated. And it was just like, you know, one of those dudes who tried really hard to sound like they're fucking educated. It's like, dude, just chill the fuck out. That was him.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I guess if you want to say like one of the only relationships that they really built throughout the movie is Will Smith and Rick Flag, because they've had a in this movie like no characters had any interactions until the end in the bar scene, or it's just them walking next to each other.
You didn't
And
know that with Harley and Deadshot?
a little bit. I think that's the second one. Deadshot's the even though you hated Will Smith as Deadshot, he had the most backstory and the most development with anybody in this movie. Him and Harley, and then also him and Rick Flag. What about Diablo, dude? What you think about Diablo?
Yeah, Mr. Hernandez. I think he threw it down. You know, typical, but it was just too stereotypical.
I agree. I agree 100%. Me and my sister joked around at the end. You know when Enchantress is like, she's like showing everybody like their perfect lives or whatever, and then they flash back or they show a dream of him like about to get head from his wife. She's like, the kids are sleeping next to him, and she's like, want to kick it, right? That's what he's fantasizing about, really, at that moment.
Well, yeah, that is pretty fucked up because, you know, like, I don't know, man. I get it. It's like a cholo, but dude, like, we're not in the fucking 80s or 90s anymore. Like, cholos have evolved. Things have changed. Like, not everybody wants to be there with their fucking Ruka and just fucking chilling out listening to some oldies.
Yeah, exactly. And then I cringed at the line at the end where he's like, "You guys are my family now," or something like that, and he made the sacrifice play, because I don't feel like they earned that line. I don't feel like they did enough. I don't. They didn't feel like a family yet. I mean, to me, it seemed like they barely knew each other and they just met for this one time. But to Diablo, they were a family. So
You think that might be some of the stereotypical bullshit because, you know, that's how Mexicans are?
yeah, in terms of like gang stuff, they were kind of.
A lot of. I'm speaking from fucking Mexican side. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what? You're a cool dude. You know, fuck yeah. After a while,
We're family, right?
yeah, you know, like you can hang out and date one of my sisters. I don't give a shit. Like that happens.
Yeah, it does. It does
So it was, like,
happen.
not as heavy.
So yeah, definitely super stereotypical when it comes to that. Let's go to Croc. What do you think about Croc?
Didn't really care for it. You know, him as a character, just the being, like even like his like combat that he had, like they try to evolve it, and you try to see emphasis on there, and I just think they failed.
Yeah, I just didn't like his look either. I mean, a lot of people nitpick a lot of things, but I thought I mean, the prosthetics look all right. Like his head looked really cool. I just thought his body was like too skinny for his whole body. Like his head, it looked like a bobblehead to me, or one of those just with big heads, small bodies. It just, especially when he took off his shirt. Yeah, yeah. When he was wearing clothing, it looked all right because the clothing made him look like it matched his head. But when he takes off his shirt at the end, I'm like, looks kind of weird, dude.
Yeah, it was just even that was stereotypical. BET.
Yeah, exactly. And then his one-liners, I watched the extended cut. I was like, I could barely understand what he was saying, but he has some really weird one-liners in here too. I think Harley Quinn at one point, she's like, or she's calling everybody ugly. He's like, I'm beautiful or something like that. It's just out of left field because we had no context with his character. I think a great idea would have been to like show him. Have you seen the movie Friday the 13th with Jason? Of course, right?
Yes. Wait,
Where
Freddy vs. Jason?
no, Friday the 13th, or how Jason is ridiculed at camp. I forgot the name of the camp where the kids are like bullying him. Yeah, Crystal Lake. That's what they should do with Croc. They should have showed like a freaking flashback of like him being shunned by kids and making fun of him and stuff like that to deserve that line, "I'm beautiful" or whatever. But I think they should have did something similar to what they did with like Jason and Friday the 13th.
I want your mom fucking some counselor and you're gonna die.
Yeah. All right. So we get Batman in this film too in the beginning, and Batman kind of seemed like like a bad guy in the scene that he was in, because he was like trying to beat up Deadshot in front of his little daughter. I was like, dude, Batman, chill. What'd you think about Batman's cameo?
I didn't even put too much emphasis on it until right now when you said that. I was like, bitch, you're gonna be in a fucking alleyway trying to pump down this dude when your parents died that way. What did you
For
want to fucking
real.
risk? Like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
for real.
The cameo was all right. I think that wasn't the scene that bothered me with Batman. It was, like the future that Will Smith had. Deadshot, like what he could have done, where he killed Batman and shit. That's what I was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like, that sucks. He
yeah.
could have been happy with his daughter. His wife could have gone away. Everything could have been fine. He could have been free. But no, I want to kill Batman.
Yeah, I think Will Smith was too likable in this film for being a villain. And if we're ever supposed to believe that he's going to be a potential Batman villain, like, are we supposed to like want Batman to like win? Because Will Smith is charming, dude. You can't deny. You might hate Will Smith being Will Smith, but he's a charming dude, and it's going to be really hard to make them believe that Will Smith is like this evil guy now. He's got a little kid he's providing for. He's doing everything to provide for her and to look out for her. So
I think
if
he
they're
needs a
gonna,
really, I think he needs a fucked up character play in life, and then we might look at him different. Like Sleepers with Kevin Bacon. We all loved him until we saw that movie. We're like, fuck you, Kevin Bacon. We don't trust your ass.
yeah, yeah, that could happen, and they could eventually get to that. Okay, let's get to the villain, Enchantress. I thought this was like one of the biggest mistakes of the movie, and from what I'm hearing, it was David Ayer's vision. Like he had a dream or a nightmare, and this was the monster that he had in his head in terms of just that big what Enchantress turns into and how she's able to turn like all these other minions into like putty looking things. What did you think about the villain in this movie?
Honestly, like I think this is one of those films that I just kind of pretended like I'm not paying attention to the villain
Yeah.
because it was fucking horrible. Like even when the trailers were coming out, like nowhere in anybody's mind was like, "Oh my god, that's gonna be her." No, everybody was like, "Oh shit, it's Poison Ivy." Like it could have been something fucking dope, something familiar. But no, it was like this, and it's like, right. What's the point? Like her EAs and all those crazy things, like they just look like fucking, oh man, just like tar and shit rolled in together. Like there was nothing freaky about these guys running around doing parkour.
Yeah, you literally didn't even need a Suicide Squad to defeat them. All you needed was like an army or with bullets, officers, because you should have a headshot took him out, and Will Smith was doing that with his bullets. I don't know. I just felt like probably you probably think the same thing. The villain was like too supernatural. It was too big for what the Suicide Squad should be going up against. It felt like something like Superman should be fighting instead of Harley with the bat. You have Katana with her sword and stuff like that. It didn't make any sense to me. And it really, go
It
ahead.
really looked like it ripped off Ghostbusters with Zool. Like that
Uh,
whole Ghostbusters Part One. That whole scene looked like it was already dubbed. Like they literally grabbed a character. This is who you're gonna fight. Your destroyer, and we're gonna do it here. Bam! Like that whole scene of her where she's in power, just hanging out. Like that's what I saw, and I was like, nah, dude, I'm cool. Like Ghostbusters was funnier and better.
yeah, yeah, definitely. All right. So, where would you rank this in terms of DCE movies? Is your favorite?
I love your tone in that.
you, I don't know. Like when I had you on, you're like, oh, I thought it was all right, but this is good. I'm glad that I have somebody on here that has different views than me, and that because I can't stand this movie. I can't stand it, and you're actually defending it, and you're making some good points. So I'm glad I have you on for this show. But yeah, where would you rank it in terms of your DCU movies in terms of favorite to least favorite?
Um, it would probably be one of my least favorites. But as I
Hmm.
said, if I want to shut off the world and just zone out, not talk about getting fucking high or something like that, no, it's just where I want to put the TV on and fall asleep and just enjoy something entertaining. Yeah, I totally watch it.
Yeah,
Um,
this movie seems like like it would be good to watch it like on an acid trip, or you're on ecstasy or something, and you're just all the pretty like the bright lights, and everything's going crazy, and this whole movie felt like a music video, dude. How many music montages did they have in this movie?
oh, totally. But I think that was just stupid fucking marketing. That's a weird thing. I think being desensitized and just watching this shit so much, you see so many different fucking layers on why they wrote a certain way. The aspect, and like the whole music choices.
Yeah,
Bohemian
like
Rhapsody and all that. I'm like, dude, are you guys really trying to go up against the Guardians? Like, they put a standard. You just let them know you're the little bitch, and you're gonna try really hard to stick with it.
yeah. See, Guardians soundtrack. At least every song was kind of like in the same era or in the same vibe, kind of like that old school. Because it was like an '80s mix or a '70s mix. I forget. But this movie just seemed like a now. That's what I call music CD soundtrack. You know how they just jumble a bunch of songs together. Especially that Eminem "Without Me." When that song came in, I was just like, okay, I'm done. Like, why is this here? Why is this song relevant in 2016? And
Wait. When you talk about Eminem, he's always relevant, bro. He's always relevant anywhere and everywhere.
you make a good point, but yeah, it seemed like every song was on the nose. I think there was another one when Harley was in the elevator and there was like another song playing. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it's like rarely moments where it was just silence and then the squad got to talk to each other. I don't know. I'm just disappointed in this film. I'm getting like angry just talking about it,
Where would you
and the
rate
fact
this? Scout from 10.
um 1 to 10,
Yeah, 10 being the
probably
highest, 1 being the lowest.
probably like a 4 or 5.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go like a -0. So
No,
that's all
no,
right.
no.
That's all right.
Only reason it's still a 4 and a 5 is because, of, like you said, the initial entertainment factor. It's quick. It's a quick movie. It's not as slow as Batman v Superman or Man of Steel. If I were to rank like the whole DCU right now, I think it's gonna go. It's gonna go in terms of what I think is the best movie. Probably Man of Steel, the Batman v Superman. This would be last, and because this one just felt cut up. The editing was super all over the place. But yeah, that's how I would rank them.
I can see that. All of that.
What about Margot Robbie as Harley, dude? What you think about her?
Why the bitch didn't fucking start doing squats?
They gave her the outfit to make it look like she had more of an ass, but it didn't always work in some angles.
I think, dude, when she's bending over, grabbing that purse, I was like, dude, that's gonna be spank bank for the rest of my
they,
life. Because she's a
they
bad bitch.
tried. They
But then I
tried,
see
man.
that. All I
Yeah,
wanted was fucking pancakes.
yeah. Pancakes.
Yeah, like there was no ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not in the fucking 70s anymore, bro. Like, we need something to fucking hold on to.
Yeah. And then also a couple of her lines, like when she was in the airplane and she was meeting Katana, and Rick Flag was telling us who Katana was. Like, this is Katana. Her sword steals the souls from people. And then Harley Quinn's like, "Oh, I'm Harley. Nice to meet you. What is your perfume? The scent of death, or something like that." I was like, "Really, really?"
You know, when it came to actually like her physically, like besides just that, like if it goes back to her mannerisms, her smile, there's sometimes like there is somebody sadistic. I think it was cool, and she was like, she's hot, but she's not so hot you can't approach her. But now you
Yeah.
put a little bit of craziness, and she actually had that look like this chick would fucking start you on fire while you're asleep.
Yeah, she definitely had some qualities like that. Hey, we're getting a call. I'm gonna go ahead and take this call. Hopefully everyone can hear it. Hopefully the audio. This is 972. 972. You're in the Geek Cave. What's up?
Oh, sorry, hi.
Hello. You're called the Geek Cave. What's up? You want to talk about Suicide Squad?
Sure, yeah. The only thing is, wait, this is we're talking about the extended cut, right?
Yeah, you can talk about extended cut or the regular movie. Doesn't matter. Anything.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen the extended cut. I've only seen the original.
No problem. What do you want to say about it?
Um, well, I mean, just judging by like the few deleted scenes that I've seen, like by themselves, it seems that they cut up some pretty good parts of the movie that could have made more sense. Like the one scene with Harley chasing Joker in the pink car and in her motorcycle. That scene was really good. That would have extended the story a little bit more. But yeah, just cutting all these parts from the movie didn't really make it seem as good as it could have been.
Yeah, that was actually one of the scenes in the extended version. Is it showed the chase and it showed a different scene where Harley was like chasing Joker on a motorcycle, And Joker, this was funny to me. This was like a Joker moment where I thought, okay, that's Joker to me. Is that she pulls up on side of his car and he kind of has that look on his face like, oh my god, like go away, like why are you here? And I can't believe they cut that out because that's so Joker to me. But yeah, the extended cut did add a couple scenes, but there were still scenes missing. There was the scene where Joker had like half of his face blown off that was still not in the extended cut. Why wasn't it in there? Why? Where's that scene?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Never got his face blown off.
But yeah, man, you want to talk about anything else?
Well, one thing I noticed that like this was, I also heard mostly about this before I saw the movie. My parent, like people had said that that some people said it was good, some people said it was not very good, and a lot of people, and I think the movie got a lot of hate. For me, honestly, and my mom too, she loved the movie. It was pretty okay. I mean, I didn't, aside from the cuts from it, it didn't seem like a bad movie. Like, I mean, it makes sense on its own, and it opens up more movies possibilities. Like, we could actually get like, I think wasn't there going to be like a Harley Quinn spin-off movie or something? I think.
Yeah, that was actually announced today. There's gonna be, or Jesse, did you hear about this? There's gonna.
Honestly, I can't hear anything you guys are talking about.
Oh, really? You can't hear any audio?
No, I got nothing coming from the other end.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me go ahead and get to the next caller. Thanks for calling, man. I'll answer your question right now.
All right.
All right, take it easy. Basically, he said that there was news that dropped today of that David Ayer is going to be the producer and director of the new Gotham City Sirens. Like, that's for sure confirmed. And they're going to go with David Ayer as the person to do it. So that's crazy. It literally dropped like 2 hours ago. What do you think about that? Bringing him back.
I think it's cool, but he's going up against a powerhouse, especially with Ben Affleck directing, writing, all that other shit.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be the guy getting the money because Ben ain't gonna let anything else happen, and that's what Ben does to anything that he touches.
Yeah. I've been hearing some stuff about the Batman script too, and I think Ben recently came out and said, that he's gonna take his time with this Batman script. I hope he does. I hope they don't rush it. I think I heard that they're gonna also push back Justice League 2, which just give me good movies, man. Take your time. Just do what you have to do. But yeah. I don't know. The fact that what do you think about these DCEU movies in terms of them all being polarizing? Why are they so polarizing? Why are the Marvel movies getting, the higher Rotten Tomato scores? I know Rotten Tomatoes is not God of movie reviews, but it does affect whether someone's going to go out and see a movie.
I think there's come on, man. Like, we grew up in a different age. Like, hype is everything.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think Marvel is extremely hype, but I will give them props to say, you know what, these guys been in the game for fucking like 17 years, going up and down. Because we've seen some X-Men movie where we're like, yeah, we liked it. Then we watched it now, we're like, what the fuck was going on? Spider-Man, same shit. I know it's not Marvel and all that other crazy shit, but let's be honest. I think DC because I think Batman vs Superman, all this other crazy shit. I think it's the first time we have actually seen a comic book Batman. And I think there's so many moving parts that they're trying to adapt and trying to keep up. And I think that was their biggest flaw. So if we go down right now and say, let's take our time, let's build it right. And I look at Ben Affleck on these particular projects for the DC universe is like what you go for The Rock. You get The Rock, you go 600% up. I think same thing with Ben Affleck, because how many awards does he walk away with? He's not a WWE. He does have a very crazy passion, a lot of insight when it comes to projects he's working on. And I think that's why he came back with DC and was like, you know what, you guys want me to do this? Cool. I'll direct and I'll write because I'll get it done the real way it should be.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel, I don't know, I think it's just be the kid in me, but I think this guy is probably talking to people like, Kevin Smith and shit like that, where they're like, hey, we might not talk and we might be all about bullshit, but seriously, I need to fucking out right quick.
He's good friends with Kevin Smith too, or he at least used to be, right? They go way back.
Yeah, because like the whole Jennifer Gardner fucking She got between all that shit.
She's probably like, hey, you can't hang out with your friends anymore. You can't.
Always talk shit about Kevin Smith always talks shit about Ben Affleck in a joke, and she just didn't like it. Just how crazy about it. But I think guys are guys, you know. I mean, we know how it is, and that's fucking awesome chip cup that you're fucking drinking out of.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if anyone saw that. I'm drinking out of chip today. It's my sister's cup she got from Disneyland 10 years ago, and it's still surviving. He's like a cockroach, never dies. But yeah, man, I totally agree. You guys, the guys who are calling right now, I will take your calls, but once we're Jesse's off here because he can't hear anything and he's not gonna just stare at me talking randomly to a caller. But I'll open up calls at the end. Huh?
When they ask you a question, you can always ask me with it if you want to. That's up to you.
Okay, yeah, I think I'll take a couple more then.
Yeah, because I can also hook up my phone and listen on the other end.
All right, let me go ahead and take this one in. 562, what's up? You're in the Geek Cave.
Hey, what's up, TC? This is Steve Medell from, the whole thing.
Steve Medell, stunning Steve Medell. What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. I'm just freezing my ass off here in Canada. Look, would you guys have any hope for the DC Universe movie? Do you think? I mean, I personally don't think it's that bad. I think I don't think it's as good as Marvel is, obviously, but I don't think it's a sinking ship. I think it's a struggling ship and not sinking. But do you guys have any hope for it, or do you think they should do a complete reboot?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hang up on you real quick, just so I can tell Jesse your question because he can't hear anything. But thanks for calling, man. I will answer your question shortly. Thanks for calling, Steve.
No problem. All right, thanks.
All right, thanks. All right, so Steve Medell is asking on the phone. Did you hear that or not, Jesse?
No, I just got signed on right now.
Okay, basically said, do we have any hope for the DCEU? He says it's not a sinking ship, but it's a struggling ship. Is there any hope left? And I'm going to say that there is hope if Wonder Woman is a good movie. I think that if Wonder Woman tanks and it's the same split, down the middle type Rotten Tomato score, and if Justice League is kind of split too and polarizing, I think it's time to scrap it and reboot. Like, those two movies need to hit for me. Go ahead.
The fanboy in me wants to say, fuck that, they'll always make it. But in reality, I'm totally with that. But I personally believe out of all these superstars, Wonder Woman is going to be the home run.
I don't, dude. I have serious doubts about Wonder Woman being able to, because it's going against Thor Ragnarok. I think Ragnarok
sucks, dude. Like, he's a filler film, man.
But you have the Hulk in there too, man. The Hulk is the game changer. It's the wild card. You're bringing in Hulk, and he's being a gladiator, and he's out there fighting Thor. I think he's under a spell or something. I don't know. But I just think that, even when I go to my Instagram and I post Wonder Woman images, they're the most less engaged posts. And my audience on Instagram is mostly males. So I don't know. I can see a lot of guys out there that, love DC and love Marvel, and they see a Wonder Woman come out. Yeah. And they're like, I'll just wait. It's Wonder Woman, right? So I think the women really need to show up and show out for this movie. I'm actually scared of the box office. I think it's going to hit really low.
I think with the Wonder Woman, I think it's just Sleeping Monster, man. I think just her theme song, dude. Who doesn't get hyped up to that shit?
Dude, in that theme song in Batman v Superman, they played that theme song when they showed a photograph of her. It's not necessary. Yeah, it's cool, but then I think in Batman v Superman in particular, they would show the photograph, and then they would bang in that theme song. It's cool and all, but they just hit us over the head with it, I think. It's too much for me.
I personally want to beat up or get into a fucking ring with that damn theme song on. I'm just invincible with that shit on.
It's going to be on your, what's it called, your gym hype playlist next, or what? Are you going to put it on there right now?
It's gonna be yep, this is what I train to.
Well, let's hear it. Let me put you on the spot. Go ahead. Let's give us a little rendition of the theme song. I know you got it in your head.
Oh, no.
No. But yeah, man. Thank you, Steve, for the question. It's a great question. Thanks for calling in. But yeah, I mean, I hope the DCEU turns it around. Like, I'm the biggest DC guy here. I don't want to see it fail. Like, when Batman v Superman came out, I was hoping like it was going to be like the best movie ever, and it would compete with in terms of like critical and audience perception. I hope they turn it around. And if I have any hope, it would probably be with Ben Affleck's movie, the Batman movie, because you're gonna have Deathstroke in there, and that small teaser we saw of Deathstroke was awesome. So hopefully that Batman Deathstroke movie is gonna be great. I don't know if it's gonna be too late by then though. Wonder Woman and Justice League need to be good movies.
We'll see where it's at, man. I just think this is one of those projects you can't really listen to hype. You got to listen out, feel what you know, and throw it down. Like, I think that's one thing when it really comes down to hype. I think that's a lot of things. And I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm a guy about business. So you think somebody's not fucking paying other people to say dumb shit about fucking other organizations out there?
Really? You got your tinfoil hat on, man?
No, because I've done it to motherfuckers.
Oh,
And motherfuckers done it to me. That's just business, baby. I don't care how
Cons-
big or how small it is. Don't ever think that's not a reality.
Dang, so nobody on DC is paying anybody to go, paying any of the Rotten Tomatoes to mark down Marvel scores, or it's just a one-sided thing, or what's going on here?
I always look at it as it's like chess, man. Whoever has the bigger fucking cash and the bigger crew's gonna win. You know, that's just life. In DC, they're little small guys still. They try, but they peewees.
Yeah, they do have. Marvel's got Disney, and DC has WB, and Disney's a monster. So, actually,
it's just life, man. It's just life.
I do think DC needs to branch off from WB. I think WB, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes where they're like meddling too much in the DC movies. And you know how Marvel has their own studio, right? It's just Marvel Studios. I think DC needs that. It needs to kind of like branch away from WB, and they just create their own division, DC Films, to where they hire people like Jeff Johns, which he's already in there, or I don't know, other people in the industry to focus, people who love the content in there.
I think it's growing. I think that's a big thing. I think people are starting to look for more realism to the truth when it comes to comics and all that good stuff. Because even like Batman, as I said, man, we look at Batman when it comes to cinema, we've never seen a real Batman.
What do you mean?
Like, every Batman has been a fictional character, from Tim Burton shit and all that. It was just kind of weird stuff. Like, it was never like, hey, can you show me these comics, these layers, and throw me where it's at? Tim Burton was kind of like, if you read those stories, you hear that shit, there was nothing of the world of Batman in there.
I agree with you because Christopher Nolan's, I still don't think that was a real Batman either. I think the first one we did get was Batman v Superman Batman, the DCEU Batman. Because Christopher Nolan tried to go with that super hyper realism stuff, and that wasn't really bad. It was more like a crime drama to me. He was like just a very well dressed cop, basically. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's why I look at some of those things where I'm just kind of like, all right, bud, it's just.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about Jared Leto, because I think he's super salty with DC at this moment. Like, I'm kind of worried about the what's going to go on with the Joker, because there's been interviews where he's complained about, there was so many other scenes, and he did all this preparation for the role. There's stories that he was like pulling little tricks behind the scenes, like sending people use condoms. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, to me, it seems like he's super salty about it, and it worries me that, that's the last we're going to see of the Joker. What do you think about him going forward?
I've been hearing the same stuff. I think you hear people talk about he's not going to be in the Harley Quinn movie. He's not even going to be in this new Batman movie. You're hearing all this stuff because what's going down there. And you know what? The only reason why he should be salty is off his own stupidity.
Off his own stupidity? Why is that?
Method actors kind of annoy the shit out of me. Like Sean Penn, all those other guys. Like even like a John Leguizamo. Like, they're method actors, but there's some that literally could be method actors, and it's like, you're on point, you're cool. But I remember seeing like the Jared Leto. I saw that one today, actually. I was YouTube shit. But it was Jared Leto where he put that snake to Jimmy Fallon and stuff. Like, hey, this is from the Joker. Like, I think he tries too hard. And that's the thing. It's like, dude, like there's great ways to be a great character without trying so hard. And mind you, you're
Yeah.
not the rock star of this film. The elements aren't there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he knew that he was gonna be. He's not the main focus of the story. But I don't know. I think he would have been better if those stories or that information had not come out. That he was trying so hard because I think it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's upset with DC, and I feel like this is gonna. It could become a Terrence Howard situation, or it could become an Edward Norton situation where
If it becomes either of those, they're done.
they're done. Right? You can't
They
fucking
they're done.
miscast. You can't recast the Joker.
Yeah. No, there's no coming back. You know, we saw that so many times with the Hulk, and now with like Mark Rufio or whatever the fuck his name is, like him throwing
Yeah.
it down, like
I'm at the point where Marvel can't do it either. Marvel, there's no more recasting for Marvel. I'm surprised they did it with the Incredible Hulk, because that film is technically in the MCU, the Edward Norton Hulk, and they
really.
even revamped the look of the Hulk. Yeah,
I think right now in cinema, and this is why I think DC can be able to throw down with everybody revamping, everybody's old contracts in Marvel going away, being tied up, and new characters coming in. It's like Hugh Jackman, you know. Is there anybody else who could play Wolverine? I've been seeing him for 15 years. It's gonna be really hard for me to adjust that, and I think that's everybody too.
yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Being taken out, they just shot themselves in the head. They know that. He knows that. That's why they're gonna fuss. Because even the dude who played Alfred, you know, fucking from Die Hard or whatever,
Jeremy Irons,
yeah, like he actually had words about it.
he did.
You know,
Um,
nobody said shit about him. They're like, oh, he's just an old fuck. Let him talk. Go ahead.
no, I agree with you. Hey, we got another phone call. Mind if I take it?
You know what? I'm listening with you. Go for it.
All right, cool. All right, 253, you're on the air in the Geek Cave. What's up? Hello? Oh, they didn't answer. So, moving on from that. But yeah, I agree with you in terms of, I think he said something like, he thought it was a terrible film too after he saw it. A little
And to me,
disappointing.
that's sometimes that's what happens, man. But you know, I don't care who you are, what franchise, any business. Not everything's gonna be right, and you're not
Yeah,
gonna please everybody with that kind of cast.
yeah. I think I read also somewhere that the next time we might not even see the Joker in the next Batman film. We're gonna wait and we're gonna see him like after that film, after Justice League and after Wonder Woman. So it's gonna be at least how many years before we see Joker again? At least 5, 6, maybe.
But I'm not too freaked out about that because you know what? Like that's something I think as society, like there's great characters out there.
Yeah, it's just they hype. I mean, there is no bigger villain in the DC universe. The Joker has always been the most popular, and he's been like the most popular villain that they have.
Yeah, I think Harley. I think she's shooting up there. If they
She
do it
is,
right,
yeah.
they could do some great stuff with Harley.
And going back, do you think that they shoehorned, like, is this all the origin we're gonna get with Joker and Harley? That small flashback of them, her being a psychiatrist and him like trying to seduce her and the whole Silence of the Lambs type thing, or are we gonna get a movie, Mad Love or something, where they actually show us a legit fleshing out of the backstory, the origin, how he works her the whole time while he's in Arkham? Like, is that it? Are we done with the origin with that one flashback in Suicide Squad?
See, that's the thing I gotta ask. You know, having certain writers, certain people moving around and not staying around for as long, or even try to control it in a certain aspect. I think that's the thing that we have to ask ourselves as fans: is are we ready to be heartbroken? Because we probably aren't going to get the real Harley Quinn and Joker story we need and what the comic books are true to. We'll probably never get that. But we're going to get, you know, like you sit there and you look on Facebook, you get all these memes, you know, everybody wants to have a relationship like Harley Quinn and Joker. And I'm like, you know, it's like, you want a peaceful relationship? Like that's no. Like
Yeah, no.
no, they're the power couple. It's like no, it's not Jay-Z and Beyonce, bro.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of preteens and a lot of 13-year-old girls and boys who went and saw this movie, and they don't know anything about the characters of Joker and Harley Quinn. That's what they think. That's the relationship that was shown to them, and they're the ones making the memes, or the people that are not being sarcastic about it and are actually being serious. Like, they have no idea that Joker abuses Harley. They only know of what they saw in the movie and what was given to them.
I didn't know my dad was abusing my mom either, but you can't change these kids' lives. A lot of them all distorted. Like I'm not trying to talk shit. There's so many different things about when it comes to like when we were kids. You'd go out there, you would see a trailer on TV, you'd go read a comic book, you'd read a book, you go see a movie. That's
Yeah.
you know what was up in the world.
Yeah.
Nowadays, so much vast knowledge, and I always some dude told me in Surge something at a bar one night, and it really made sense. He was like, "Our generation of hip hop, we were drug dealers. This generation are drug users." So true because there's so many moves, and that's just one big metaphor of life because these guys are like, oh yeah, this is it. It's like, nah, dude, you know what? You put on a game, you'll have so much more interest into pop culture if you read comics, if you looked at it. You don't even have to be, a connoisseur of this. Just grab one.
Yeah.
You're gonna have so much more fun than just at a movie. The movie's the pure second entertainment.
Yeah, and I feel like, all these other mediums, like you have kids who have never picked up a comic book in their life and they're playing the Arkham games. And I think that could be like a great bridge from like going to other media that's not traditional, like a video game or like a cartoon animated series. That should bring people in back to the comics. They should see it and be like, oh man, this is really cool. I want to learn a lot more. And YouTube does that too. Like there's a lot of YouTube comic book channels that have gotten a lot of the younger generation and the youth into comic books. But that's the root of everything, man. That's how it all started. I agree with you.
People never have the real goodness, man.
The real goodness. They can always go back and read the classics. I know when I have a family, they're going to be reading the classics before anything.
What was the first comic book movie you saw as a kid?
Comic book movie?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Remember that one? It's an animated movie.
No.
It was like it was a branch off of Batman the Animated Series. It was called Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and they played it in theaters, and I went to go see that. I think after that, it was like Batman Returns. It was the old Batman movies, so Batman Returns or Batman 89, those two. I can't remember which one came first, but one of the Batman movies. What about you?
The first movie that I recall was Howard the Duck. But I didn't see him in movie theaters. I remember that. The first movie I ever saw in theaters was The Crow.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Like 92 or 93.
And then your whole world was blown after that, right? Your mind was blown.
Yeah, because that was the first time. I don't think my dad knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, like this is a comic book movie. No.
Yeah. I forget. Was that rated R?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, dude. There's fucking rape scenes, tits, and everything in that movie.
I haven't seen it.
I was a kid, like thanks, pops.
Yeah.
To me, as I said, that moment changed me forever. And I remember going from there to read a comic book to find out who was who. Brandon Lee was Bruce Lee's son. James O'Barr was the creator of The Crow. There's a whole novel based off that, which I still have now as a kid, and I just collect it. So whenever it comes through, that's a piece of me that changed.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone has their in to this geek world of ours, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. And I think a lot of people, like I said, are getting drawn in by video games and animation cartoons and even these Netflix series. Like people who just have regular Netflix are like, oh, what is this Luke Cage? What is this Jessica Jones? And then boom, like they're immediately a fan and they start reading the source material. So yeah, man, the youth of today, like they have so many more options than we did in terms of everything's at their fingertips. Like if they want to tweet at an actor, if they want to tweet at Deathstroke, they can and could possibly get a response. We would just have to be like on vacation with our families in Hollywood to randomly like spot somebody like a famous person. That's how we would interact with celebrities.
Well, do you remember when celebrities used to they used to do signings? Do you ever remember that?
Like at Comic-Con, like those booth signings?
Before Comic Con, all that stuff, like there would be like a Macy's or like a Mervyn's or something.
Ah,
Or
yeah.
I remember like uh the first real celebrity I ever saw with that, or even at like a what are those called? Like they're not carnivals, like the state fairs and stuff. Like you'd have
Yeah.
there. I remember the first one I was actually at a mall and I met the cast from the Power Rangers TV series.
Oh, nice. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the OGs, or what?
Yes, like I mean, I have photos of me and Trini and Billy the Blue Ranger. And with her passing on, that's crazy that I got a piece of time as a kid.
Yeah.
Like there was things like that happened that were pretty cool. Or even signings at like record stores. I remember things like that. And it was usually when they were trying to promote something.
Yeah, definitely. I think now that you say that, I remember like famous people coming to like the local mall, and my mom being like, "Oh, so and so's gonna be here." I'd be like, "Okay, let's go. I want to meet this person." But yeah, that's how they used to do it back then.
Now we got Comic Cons.
Yeah. You can go meet anybody for the right price at Comic-Con. Or sometimes they're walking around the floor. Sometimes, they're not being grouchy and you can be like, "Hey, what's up?" I think I met a couple wrestlers that way.
That's a weird thing. I don't give a fuck everywhere I can. That's James O'Barr's the reason I got into comics, and he's the reason I fucking hate him too. He's not a good guy.
James who?
James O'Barr.
Oh, okay.
Guy who wrote The Crow.
Oh, got it. He wrote the screenplay for the movie?
No, the actual comic.
Oh, the comic book.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I met him, and he was just the biggest prick in the world, and that's why I was like, if you weren't 65 years old, I'd throw this fucking chair in your goddamn fucking head.
How was he a prick? He was just kind of like, "Oh, give me your stuff, I'll sign it, and then move on to the next one," or was it a personal story, interaction?
It was a little bit of both because us being there with balls, we went in was like, "Hey, you know what? Can we have an interview with you? This and that." He wouldn't even talk to me face to face. He had his little fat publicist, and he said some weird shit. Like I was like, "Dude, you know what? We don't even have to do the interview. You're the reason I started all this. I just want to say thank you and stuff." And he still wasn't looking at me face to face like he first started to, and just boom. And I was like, "Yo, like, dude." And I was like, they're like, "You know what? He needs a smoke break." I was like, "Hey, we need a smoke break too. Like, we'll go with you, dude. Like, it's whatever. Like, I just want you to let you know, thank you. You changed my life." And he just saw I could do the interview, and I could say no. I'm gonna say no, and he just turned his back to me. And I was like,
you're heartbreaking at the same time.
Dude, you know what I mean? Like I felt like my dad was leaving my home and never coming back. Like that's what it felt like. Just I don't know if it's just the way I am, but like you don't talk to somebody to turn your back on them. You don't.
Yeah, a little disrespectful.
Look at him in the face, like you're not a man, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit how old you are. Like if you were like 40, oh dude, I would have fucking for sure tried to throw your heads at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same thing for like a lot of little kids who look up to these sports athletes. A lot of them are just athletes, man. They're not in the business to be role models, and that's on a person by person, case by case basis. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and wrap up with Suicide Squad. Any final thoughts you want to say about the movie in general? I know you said it was your least favorite. I can't remember. Where did you rank this?
I said it would be one of my least ones. Suicide Squad, how I look at that is it's fun, it's entertaining. You want to just throw something down and just relax, maybe a Netflix and chill kind of night, put it on.
All right, man.
If you're a fanboy, walk away.
Walk away.
Yeah,
that's who's.
Piss yourself off.
Yeah, true. I mean, we're the core audience that I feel like they should be trying to reach, but I think with this movie they went for the casuals in terms of the whole Harley and Joker thing and their hot topic relationship, and they went for the safe route instead of giving the true origin and him being abusive. They even cut that out of the film. That was a part of the extended version where he kind of like backhands her with the gun, which we don't see. But anyway, yeah, man, thanks for being on, and everyone go check out Nerd with Balls. I'm going to go ahead and upload this full thing to the YouTube channel, so if you happen to catch this later. Jesse, go ahead and plug your social media before you go.
You You can check us out at www.nerdwithballs.com. You can check us out on all social media outlets at NerdWithBalls.
All right, and thanks for coming on with such short notice, man. I appreciate that.
Nah, brother, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us. We're always here for you.
All right, take it easy, man.
You too. Later, bro.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm still here. I just kind of transitioned to a different slide. I'm kind of interact with the chat here for a little bit. If you guys have been staying strong in here. I know a lot of you guys expected Karina, but she kind of told me, she was like, after we had announced that, oh, we're gonna do it on Tuesday, she's like, oh crap, Tony, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I totally have this engagement that I have to go to, and I was like, oh, fine. But then luckily enough, Jesse stepped up to the plate, so huge thank you to you, Jesse. I like that phrase. Yeah. What's up, chat? If you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button so maybe it gets recommended in YouTube for anybody who's there in the chat right now. Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. I'll get it for you later. Suicide Squad was fucking terrible. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thanks for showing up. If you missed part of the stream, I'm going to upload the whole thing in its entirety right after it's done, which should be in like, depending on how long this one is, should be like an hour or an hour and a half.